Welcome to the Gospel Road. Ephesians 4 is what we'll look at today. It says, as a prisoner for the Lord, then I urge you to live in a life worthy of the calling you have received. But be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to one hope when you were called. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all, through all, and in all. But to each one of us, grace has been given as Christ apportioned it. This is why it says, when he ascended on high, he took many captives and gave gifts to his people. Now, why does he ascend? Means except that he also descended to the lower earthly regions. He who descended is the very one who ascended higher than all the heavens in order to fill the whole universe. So Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the teachers, the pastors to equip his people for works of service so that the body of Christ may be built up until we all reach the unity in the faith and in the knowledge of the Son, and become mature, attaining to the whole measure of the fullness of Christ. Then we will no longer be infants, tossed back and forth by the waves and blown here and there by every wind of teaching, and by the cunning and craftiness of people in their deceiving scheming. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every aspect the mature body of him who is the head, that is Christ. From him, the whole body, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, grows and builds itself up in love, as each part does its work. So I tell you this, and insist on it in the Lord, that you must no longer live as the Gentiles do. In the futility of their thinking, they are darkened in their understanding and separated from the love of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to the hardening of their hearts, having lost all sensitivity, that they have given themselves over to sensuality so as to indulge in every kind of impurity, and they are full of greed. That, however, is not the way of life you learned when you have heard about Christ and were taught in him in accordance with the truth that is in Jesus. You were taught with regard to your former ways of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, to be made new in the attitude of their minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. Therefore, each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, for we are all members of one body. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. Anyone who has been stealing must steal no longer, but must work, doing something useful with their own hands, that they may have something to share with those in need. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful in building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, with whom you were sealed for day of redemption. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ forgave you. Ephesians 4. Again, that's what we are looking at today. It's been a week, let me tell you. It has been a week. Mom's in the hospital again, so had a couple late nights looking at her blood pressure and her breathing. Breathing's better, blood pressure, still keeping an eye on that. Then I also had our largest fundraiser of the year at the station. So again, one late night and one really late night. I think Friday I was dealing on the day on about 2 hours worth of sleep, which was not sufficient. There's so many things that we have going on in our lives. We are always so busy. We're not taking a break. We're not trying to find time to ourselves. And with that, sometimes we are going to be able to help one another, and sometimes we're pretty much going to be worthless to each other. I'm probably worthless more often than I'm helpful. I don't know. A lot of times when you're in that realm of the lack of sleep or being busy or being so tired or being busy, so many things going on, so many irons in the fire, anger, annoyance, very easily riled, frustration, easily riled. And we have to keep that in check. We have to be aware of what's happening, what's going on. And I'll be honest, I'm not the best at this. I fail at this even when I've had sleep. It's funny because there's certain things that I can have patience with, and there's certain things that I do not have patience with. But a lot of times the unpatience comes to things that are on a timeline that need to be done in a certain amount. And if something is holding that back, that creates a problem. Because now somebody's not able to get something done, or you're not able to get to where you need to be because that's being held back. You know, in Ephesians, it tells us that when you're angry, do not sin. In fact, at the same time, when you go to bed, don't go to bed angry. You know, as Bruce Banner says, you would not like to see me angry. So I just saw another movie this past week, and they use the exact same term. You don't want to see me angry. And it wasn't the Hulk. It was something complete. I think it was a superhero movie, but it was not the Hulk. It was kind of funny. But we just need to be aware. Be aware of the surroundings. Be aware of what's happening. Be aware of what we're doing, what we're using as we are using our talents. And being humble with those. Sometimes that anger can pop up because you're not being patient. You're maybe not being humble. Maybe you're being kind of arrogant because you know what this is, and someone is just driving you crazy. All things to think about, because all this comes together as we are trying to build up one another to be the best that we can be, so we can help each other do what it is that we need to be doing together, because we are one body. We are one machine. It's like at work when you are one department and you need them to be working together and everybody doing their part to really get the job done, to be that well-oiled machine. And the issue is we are not that well-oiled machine. We have so many things that are separating us, and they are things that people are just shutting us down on. And not willing to have a conversation. Not trying to find the level that you do agree, or find the level that things do come together. You know, with my mom in the hospital, I'm now dealing with my dad getting extra things done around the house. And then I'm finding how, again, as they're getting older, not thinking probably the way they used to. But then sometimes I go back and I try to think how they thought, and yeah, I can't even remember. It's been so long. But again, I'm still going off of a lack of sleep. Slept last night, but I'll be honest, I'm still kind of tired today. But how are we helping one another? How are we building up one another? How are we encouraging? How are we helping others to be better at what they're doing, to do better in their lives every day? Again, we have the teachers and the prophets and the apostles and the pastors that, to equip us with what we need to know for life, for being a Christian, for doing our job. Depending on what that occupation is that you're going into, that they can feed that information for you to be the best that you can be, to be that accountant, to be that journalist, whatever it is. But the goal is to always be the best that you can be at that. I always remember I had a program director, which is what our bosses are called in radio. And he said one time to me, he goes, your station needs to be the best that it can be. In fact, it does not matter where you are. You could be in Podunk, wherever. But that station should be so good that if it were to be uprooted from that location and put in Kansas City, LA, New York, it could compete with the bigger stations, with the bigger markets, with the bigger locations. Do you treat yourself that way on how you do things? That you are being the best that you can be, and then that way, if you ever were to be uprooted and moved, you would still have the knowledge, you would still have the gumption, you would still have the know-how to compete and to be the best in that new location. And of course, they call that moving jobs. You applied somewhere and you went there because you had the talents to do what they wanted you to do. But sometimes it's not even that. You just end up moving. You get uprooted for whatever that reason being. Now, it doesn't even have to be a big move. It could just be going from job to job. Are you doing the best? Are you being the best that you can be? Those are interesting things, as we have to look at ourselves and hold ourselves accountable. But at the same time, are you helping those around you be the best that they can be so they can succeed in life as well? Again, it's all coming together, being one, loving one another, and helping each other be who they are, what they're going to be, to grow into what they can be. Again, better today than yesterday, better tomorrow than today. Ephesians 4. That's what we looked at today. Maturity. Are you maturing? More knowledge, understanding, being the best that you can be? You following the calling, what it is that you know you're good at, those talents that you have, and that's where you can help people in that area. Maybe it's something that it's not a talent that you can get a job for, but it's a talent that you can do in volunteering and helping people. Theater or music, whatever it may be. Organization, creativity, all those blanks that you can fill in to figure out. Ephesians 4, check that out. How does it help you be the best that you can be? How can you grow with that and be good? Very, very strong questions. Very, very strong thoughts. And very, very strong opinions sometimes. But those opinions you have to be careful with, because those opinions can get you in trouble, because those opinions might always not be right. Again, it's an opinion. Trust and verify. Confirm and verify, however you want to say it. I think I keep messing that up when I talk about it. Trust and verify. Trust what you're being told, but verify that it's true. It's that confirmation. That's my brain. See, my brain doesn't always snap as quickly as it does, because I guess confirm and verify, that just means the same thing. Well, not really, because again, confirm what they said, and then verify it's true. Two different pieces. So they told you something, you then ask them back, this is what you said to me. They tell you yes or no, and then you verify it's true. And if it's something else that you're basically on the same place, the same plane, and they give you something, you trust what they say, but still verify it. Verify that it's true. But they might have been playing a game of telephone, and they're not telling you everything that they were actually told. We all get caught up in that. We do. Ephesians 4, read that today. How does it help you be that better person? Professionally, personally, just overall, that better person. If you enjoyed this, be sure to share it on social media. Always appreciate that. I know I get a few shares here and there. A few likes, a few comments. Appreciate that too. Also, you can give me a rating on the platform that you're listening. That helps as well too. Find me on social media. I do all kinds of just off-the-wall things. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, my buddy Jimmy. I'm pretty much everywhere. Pretty much. Not everywhere, but just trying to do the social media I do, and with my schedule is crazy enough. But, between the podcasts and the word of the days and tasting of food or some other event that I've been at, there's usually something getting thrown up there one way or the other. But I appreciate everybody that's following along. I'm even noticing I had to change my YouTube account from one Google account to a different one because the other one was kind of going away. I was being cheap, I'll be honest. I was being cheap with it. So since I was being cheap, I wasn't doing anything with it. So anyway. Again, how does it help you be the best that it can? Find me, follow me, like me, social media. Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless. If you just heard the buzzer, that means laundry's done. Gotta go swap it for the next load. Anyway, have a great day. God bless.
Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com.
If you're looking for help with software, app, web development, be sure to check out my friends at ingenuitycompany.com. They believe in their clients. Software development, app development, web development, visioning, design thinking, diagramming, organizational development, strategy. They can help you at the Ingenuity Company. Find out more at ingenuitycompany.com. Barbecue provided by Kenny's Rib Wagon, catering ribs for your pleasure and serving daily at Plaza Pub, 62nd and Douglas in Des Moines, across from Merle Hay Mall. Find Kenny's Rib Wagon on Facebook.
The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.